Right. So today we're diving into iconic movie couples. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Jack and Rose from Titanic.
Yeah.
And, you know, the kind of couple that even when facing a giant sinking ship, they still make you believe in love.
Right.
So we're going to unpack, like, what makes their chemistry so captivating, why their story still resonates, like, even today.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about Leo and Kate's real-life friendship, too.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up that feeling of believing in love, because that's exactly what great on-screen chemistry does. It draws you in, like you really buy into the story. Think about that first meeting.
Yeah.
At the bow of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Wind in their hair.
Yeah.
The vast ocean behind them. I mean, it's such an iconic scene, but there's a reason why it's become like a cinematic touchstone.
Yeah, that scene alone launched 1,000 King of the World memes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's more than just a pretty picture, though, right?
Yeah, it's totally more than a pretty picture. You know, the chemistry between Jack and Rose goes beyond just the romance. It embodies these bigger themes like defiance, hope, and resilience. And I think those are really the things that audiences connect with.
So is it all about the actors, or does the director play a role in creating that spark?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's both.
Really?
Yeah. A skilled director knows how to foster chemistry on set. Like thinking about the blocking the lighting, even the way that the camera lingers on a glance between two characters. But the actors have to bring something to the table too. You know, it's almost like an intangible connection.
Right.
And I think with Leo and Kate, you know, their real life friendship added like another layer to that. It blurs the lines between fiction and reality.
Right.
And that really captivated fans.
Okay, so their friendship off screen kind of enhanced the romance we were seeing on screen.
I think so, yeah.
Did that ever make it hard for them to separate the characters, do you think?
You know, that's a great question. And that's something that actors often have to navigate when they have these close relationships off screen.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a risk of blurring the lines. But I think in this case, their friendship actually fueled the performances that we saw.
Right.
You see it in interviews, the way they talk about each other. It's with genuine affection and respect.
Yeah.
And it translated to these subtle gestures on screen, you know, this unspoken communication that made Jack and Rose's relationship feel so real.
Yeah, it's like we, the audience, get to see like a deeper connection.
Yeah.
Something that goes like beyond the script.
Totally.
And speaking of scripts, let's talk about the impact Titanic had on their careers. I mean, Leo went from like teen heartthrob to like full-blown movie star.
Right.
And Kate showed this depth and range. It solidified her as like a serious actress.
Absolutely. Titanic was such a pivotal moment for both of them. You know, their performances really set a new standard for on-screen romance. And I think it influenced a whole wave of films and TV shows that followed. You know, they redefined what it meant to be star-crossed lovers.
So they basically created a whole new blueprint for cinematic romance.
I think so.
It makes me wonder if they ever felt typecast after such a big success.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a common challenge for actors who have that breakthrough success with a specific genre or character type.
Right.
But interestingly, both Leo and Kate chose a really diverse set of roles after Titanic.
Yeah, like when they reunited in Revolutionary Road.
Yes.
I mean, that film was such a departure from Titanic.
Yeah.
Like the tone and subject matter were completely different. It's hard to believe it's even the same couple.
Yeah, their reunion in Revolutionary Road was really fascinating because it showed how versatile they are as actors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were able to portray a totally different kind of relationship.
Right.
It was a struggling marriage full of tension and disillusionment.
Yeah.
But that underlying chemistry was still there.
Yeah.
It was palpable.
It really shows the range of human emotion that they can portray. It's not just like butterflies and grand gestures. It's like they can tap into those like raw, complex feelings that come with like a long-term relationship.
Right.
The kind that tests your limits.
Exactly. And that's what makes their on-screen partnership so compelling. You know, they weren't afraid to explore like the darker, more nuanced sides of human connection.
So Titanic wasn't just a one-hit wonder for their careers.
No.
It actually like laid the foundation for them to go on and do more complex and challenging roles.
Yeah.
And what's even cooler is how they've both used their fame to like advocate for causes that they care about.
Right.
Like Leo with his environmental activism.
Yeah.
And Kate with her work on body positivity.
Yeah, that's something that's become really important to a lot of actors, you know, using their platform to raise awareness about important issues.
Yeah.
it adds another layer to their legacy, like going beyond just entertainment and moving into social impact.
Yeah, it really shows that they're not just talented actors, but they're also like engaged citizens using their voices to make a difference.
Exactly.
It's like their journey, both personally and professionally, has mirrored like those themes of growth and resilience that we see in Jack and Rose's story.
And I think that's what makes them so relatable.
Yeah.
They've faced their own challenges, they've embraced opportunities, and they've evolved as individuals.
Okay, this is where it gets heartwarming.
Uh-oh.
Did you know that Leo walked Kate down the aisle at her wedding? Talk about friendship goals.
I know. That gesture really illustrates like the depth of their bond.
Yeah.
And it goes so far beyond the set of Titanic. It's like a testament to the power of shared experiences and how they can forge these profound personal connections.
It's a reminder that the most meaningful relationships are often those that evolve over time.
Yes.
Weathering storms and celebrating triumphs together.
It's a beautiful example of how life can imitate art. Their journey both on screen and off screen speaks volumes about the power of connection and the enduring nature of true friendship. It really makes you think about how some friendships can last so long.
But let's talk about the impact of Titanic itself.
Okay.
It's been like over 20 years, and Jack and Rose are still like the example everyone thinks of for like epic romance.
Yeah, you're right. They've basically become a synonym for epic love.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you seen that I'm flying scene?
Oh my God.
Like parodied or quoted. It's everywhere.
It's true. Like their image, arms outstretched on the bow of the ship.
Yeah.
It's instantly recognizable.
Right.
It's like the symbol of freedom, adventure, and love conquering all.
Yeah, and that Celine Dion song, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically the anthem for grand romantic gestures.
Holy.
But it's interesting how their love story set against like this historical tragedy
Right.
still evokes such strong emotion. Well, that's the brilliance of how the movie is structured. It puts the giant ship and all the rich passengers right next to this huge disaster about to happen.
Yeah.
And it creates this tension, this sense that things are urgent, that makes the romance feel even stronger.
So it's not just a love story. It's also about social class and defying expectations and chasing your dreams.
Exactly.
Jack, this free spirit from steerage.
Right.
And Rose, this upper-class woman trapped by all these rules. Their love breaks all those boundaries.
It does, and I think that really resonates with people even today. We all want to connect with others to be free and to have the courage to break free from rules and follow our heart. And Titanic gives us like this amazing version of that.
And you can't forget those amazing visuals.
Oh, yeah.
The costumes, the set that design the sweeping shots of the ship, it all pulls you in.
That's the magic of cinema. It can make you feel emotions and create worlds that feel real and fake at the same time. And Titanic is really good at this, mixing historical details with a made-up story that just grabs your imagination.
Okay, so we've talked about their chemistry, the cultural impact, all the filmmaking stuff that made it happen.
Right.
But what about the legacy of the film?
Yeah.
Like, how has it affected other filmmakers and writers?
Titanic definitely changed how people think about romantic movies. You see parts of their story in tons of other movies and shows the star-crossed lovers, the big romantic gestures, the sacrifice, the hope. All those things show up over and over in new ways.
So it's not just a good film. It set a whole new standard for storytelling, for how you create characters, for the visuals.
Yeah.
It keeps making people talk and argue.
It does. People still argue about whether Jack could have fit on that piece of wood.
Haha, yeah. I guess that proves a film is really powerful if people are still talking about it years later.
That's true.
But why do you think this couple is so special to so many people?
That's a tough one. I think it comes down to a few things. First, their story is about love loss and how humans can overcome anything. Those ideas are timeless, and everyone understands them. Second, the movie is just beautiful to watch. The giant spectacle and the smaller personal moments create an experience you really feel like you're part of.
And we can't forget how good Leo and Kate were.
Oh, yeah.
They brought so much emotion to their roles.
They did.
They made us believe Jack and Rose were really in love, even though they were facing this tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. Their connection was obvious.
Yeah.
But more than that, they felt real, like they were showing real human emotions. And I think that connected with a lot of people.
So it's everything together.
Yeah.
A great story, great filmmaking, amazing actors. It's like all the right pieces came together to make this movie the phenomenon that it is.
It is, and it reminds us how powerful movies can be. Titanic isn't just a movie.
Yeah.
It's an experience, a memory that we share, something that reminds us how stories can make us feel, things inspire us, and connect us as humans.
Okay, I have to ask, what do you think about the whole door thing? Could Jack have fit on it or not?
You know, I'm not going to answer that one.
Oh, come on.
It's become such a big debate with fans, but the fact that we're still talking about it shows how much the movie affected us. People have come up with so many explanations and arguments, even scientific studies.
Yeah, and that's what makes a film great. It stays with people and they talk about it for years.
I agree. Titanic isn't just a blockbuster anymore. It's part of our culture, something people are fascinated by and debate, and that inspires them.
Speaking of inspiration, I'm curious about how romance in movies has changed since Titanic. Are we over those big romantic gestures and epic declarations of love?
That's a good question. I think we are seeing love in movies in a more realistic way now. More stories about how complicated relationships are, how hard it is to communicate, and just the messy reality of everyday life.
So it's not all about dramatic music and big speeches about love anymore.
Not always. There's still place for those things, but
Yeah.
I think people also want stories they can relate to something more realistic about modern relationships.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's so much going on around us all the time. Maybe we want something more real, more human in our entertainment.
Maybe. Or maybe we're just changing as a society and understanding that love and relationships are complicated.
Either way, it's interesting to see how romance in movies changes along with how we see things.
It is, and who knows what's next? Maybe we'll see those epic love stories come back, or maybe we'll see even more realistic and personal stories about how people connect.
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Titanic and Jack and Rose will keep influencing how we see love on screen for a long time.
Now let's move on to something else that's interesting. We've talked about the impact of Titanic, but I think it's important to see how Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet have changed as people outside of their famous roles.
You're right. They didn't just stop after Titanic.
Right.
They've both done amazing things in their work and in their lives.
Let's take a closer look at their individual journeys and see how their careers and personal lives have unfolded since that famous voyage.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how Titanic made them super famous, but they didn't just stop there.
Right.
They both went on to do such interesting things, pushing themselves creatively and using their fame for good.
It's true. Titanic could have been like the peak of their careers, but instead it was like a launch pad.
Yeah.
Like, take Leo.
Yeah.
He could have just kept playing those heartthrob roles.
Right.
But he chose these really challenging, often kind of dark characters.
Yeah.
In movies like The Departed, The Wolf of Wall Street, and The Revenant.
It's like he picked roles that were like the opposite of Jack Dawson on purpose.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to get like really intense and explore the bad parts of people.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to show he could do different things.
Yeah.
To push himself as an actor.
Yeah.
And don't forget about how passionate he is about protecting the environment.
Right.
He's been talking about climate change and sustainability for years, using his fame to make people aware and inspire them to take action.
And Kate's been just as impressive. She always picks roles that show how talented she is. From period dramas like Sense and Sensibility to those thought-provoking films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Reader, she never backs down from playing complex characters.
And she's also a big advocate for body positivity and challenging those unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah.
Which is so important, especially in Hollywood, where looks are often valued too much.
It shows she's serious about using her voice for good, to advocate for change beyond just her own career. And it's cool how both she and Leo have managed to stay grounded even though they're so famous.
Yeah.
They've kept a sense of privacy and normalcy even though they're in the public eye all the time.
It really speaks to their character and what they care about.
Yeah.
They haven't let fame change who they are.
Right.
They've used their fame to spread important messages and fight for causes they believe in.
It makes you wonder, like, what motivates them?
Yeah.
Is it a sense of duty or a need to give back or just wanting to make the world a better place?
Probably all of those things.
Yeah.
They've achieved so much in their careers, but they haven't forgotten about using their platform to do something bigger than themselves.
So as we finish up our deep dive into Jack and Rose and really Leo and Kate, what's the main thing we should remember?
I think it's how they create magic on screen, their real friendship, and how much they want to make a difference.
Yeah.
They've shown us the power of love, both in movies and in real life.
Yeah.
And reminded us that even when things are bad, there's always hope.
Their story has entertained us, inspired us, and stayed with us long after the movie ended. And like we talked about today, their journey isn't over yet.
Right. They're still growing as artists and as people using their voices to fight for change and inspiring all of us to do the same.
So as you think about how much people love Jack and Rose, think about this. What other movie couples have had a big impact on you? What is it about certain couples that captures our imagination and makes us remember them long after the movie is over?
Is it the chemistry, the story, or something else entirely? Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into the amazing world of movies.